I really, really wanted Star Trek back on television.
Well, actually, funny that you mentioned that. It kind of is.
Well, in a way you wouldn't have expected.
Because one of my favorite shows is The Orville. Because I think The Orville actually is more Star Trek than Discovery or Picard or Lower Decks or Prodigy or the JJ films.
And not just because it has the Next Generation look to it.
No, it's because of the themes. The ethical dilemmas that they have in every episode, and the exploration. I mean, Seth MacFarlane did an excellent job of capturing what Star Trek really was. And
I never would have guessed that, because I don't like Family Guy. When I came into the Orville, I was expecting to think, oh, Family Guy in space, this is going to be garbage. I was shocked. I'm like, is this the same guy who did Family Guy?
Well, I mean, I knew he was a huge fan of Star Trek. Was it Enterprise that he was
on
he had an episode?
He was
a cameo?
Like an engineer or something.
Yeah. So I knew that he did love the franchise. However, like you, I was a bit concerned as to what that would actually translate to on the screen, given the whole Family Guy thing. But I was pleasantly surprised. And I think that
all the characters are likable. Every single one.
Well, I mean, and the other thing is, and people don't want to talk about this, because I never hear anybody say this when they're criticizing the Orville. Brandon Braga from Voyager.
Yeah, the Berman days.
Was, well...
He's the creator of the show, him and MacFarlane.
And Seth MacFarlane, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, when you've got one of the big names from Star Trek, like Brandon Braga, it's bound to be better than the shite that Kurtzman put out there.
Yep. And for those of you that tried the Orville and, in the first season and said, it's just a bunch of ha-has, well, bad ha-has. I mean, in that first season, they were trying to find their way, and there were some
clunkers, there were some jokes that didn't land, but I mean, look, for the most part, a lot of that bad stuff that didn't quite work, they worked it out.
That second season, although there is some comedy in there, that second season, if you haven't watched it, you should. It's on Hulu. They decided, and I don't know if this was wise or not, they turned down the comedy and they upped the Star Trek. And they actually made a Star Trek series.
Yeah, they did. And as far as I'm concerned, when you compare the portrayal of a gay couple on Star Trek Discovery versus the gay couple on the Orville, there is no comparison. What they did on the Orville, the way that they fleshed out the relationship between the two Mocklins, was so superior to the way they buried the relationship between Stamets and Kubler on Discovery.
They even covered the stigma. In Allegory, remember the episode where the Mocklin is a single-sex species. Well,
all male. Well,
you
that's
later
what they
find
tell
out that they're making it all male.
Yeah.
But an all-male species... And so they essentially their culture couples up as gay couples. And there was this episode where this one Mocklin, he felt different and he was hiding it. He was quietly trying to initiate a heterosexual relationship. And he had to do it quietly because that was an abomination to his people because they were all a single homosexual grouping of...
He liked women
Yep.
on a gay planet.
Yes.
And
they flipped the allegory around.
And had he been found out, he would have been arrested and his family would have suffered.
And if somebody believes that gay rights is a huge thing right now, and I can see why you would believe that, watch the Orville. They do such a better job with that.
Well, especially when you find out that there actually are women, female Mocklins, and...
Yeah, they're having to hide because...
They're hiding.
They don't want to admit that there's females on the planet.
Exactly. And what they have to go through to get recognized and to fight for their rights. I mean, watch the Orville. I don't want to... I've already spoiled way too much, but I mean, if you're interested in that kind of discussion or, thinking about those topics and themes, you should be watching the Orville because it's that and so much more. And it's so much better than what Star Trek is giving us now.
And it shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't.
I mean, I don't understand why Kurtzman is not bringing in... I mean, I appreciate he brought in Jonathan Frakes as a director.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something. But I wish they would bring in some of the older Next Generation Voyager, even Enterprise writers to help stabilize? Why don't you get real people who worked on these shows, just even as a consultant? Because I'm trying to be like, maybe these people who are making it now are just so clueless about how to make Star Trek.
What's showing up on the screen isn't very good.
No, it doesn't even feel like Star Trek.
No, it doesn't.
We must give him a good life, whoever he becomes.